Okay, we've all been there. It's one of the biggest mysteries of being a cat owner. Why, after all the food, the toys, the cozy sleeping spots, does your cat just flat out ignore you? Well, it turns out scientists have found the answer, and trust me, it is not what you think.
Picture it. You're just hanging out. You see your cat across the room, looking all majestic. You call their name.
And?
Crickets. Absolutely nothing. Not a glance, not a meow. You might as well be invisible.
But then you see it. That one tiny little movement. A single ear swivels in your direction for just a split second. That's all you get. So the questions start swirling in your head, right? Is my cat just incredibly stubborn? Maybe they're losing their hearing? Or, and this is the one that stings, do they just not care about me at all? Well, here's the thing. Your cat heard you. They heard you loud and clear. And the reason they stay silent is actually so deliberate, so cat-like, that once you finally get it, you'll never see them the same way again.
And that gets us to the first big reveal here, the silent choice. Let's just tear down that biggest myth right now. Your cat isn't ignoring you because they don't know their own name. Oh, they know.
For the longest time, we just figured, well, cats aren't like dogs. They probably don't learn their names. But then, in 2019, some researchers in Japan decided to actually put that to the test. They played a bunch of recordings for cats, including their own names, and they watched very, very closely to see what happened.
And the conclusion they reached was a total game changer. The study proved, without a doubt, that cats can easily pick their own name out of a crowd of other words, even words that sound really similar. And get this, even when it was said by a complete stranger they'd never met before.
So just let that sink in for a minute. They know their name. They have always known their name. Which means that every single time they just sat there, doing nothing, every single time you just got that little ear flick, that wasn't ignorance. It was a conscious choice. A choice that means something very specific.
So if it's a choice, what on earth are they trying to say? This is where we have to decode what that ignore really means, because frankly, this is the part we humans get completely backward.
You see, here's the fundamental problem. We live by human social rules, and in our world, ignoring someone is just plain rude. It means you don't care. But cats, they're playing a totally different game. In the cat world, not immediately responding is normal. It's what equals do. It's not a snub, it's them just processing.
One of the world's leading cat behavior experts, Dr. John Bradshaw, puts it perfectly. When your cat ignores you, they aren't being a jerk. In a weird, backward cat way, they're actually paying you a huge compliment. They're treating you like another cat, a social peer, not a master they have to obey. A jumpy and secure cat reacts to everything. A cat that trusts you feels safe enough not to. That ignore can actually be a sign of total comfort.
But, and this is a really important but, not all ignores are created equal. You've got the relaxed, trusting ignore we just talked about. And then you have this, the active ignore. This is different. This is when your cat hears you and then makes a very pointed show of turning their head away or even gets up and leaves. That's not trust, that's avoidance. That's a huge red flag that they've learned their name often means something bad is about to happen.
And that leads us to the absolute heart of the matter, the value of your voice. I mean, think about it. Your cat won't budge when you call their name, but what happens when they hear the rattle of the treat bag? They teleport into the room, right? It all comes down to a lightning-fast calculation happening inside their brain. Essentially, every sound in your cat's life gets a score. The sound of the treat bag? That's a 10 out of 10, high positive value. It always predicts something awesome. The little jingle their favorite toy makes? Also super high value. But their own name? For a lot of cats, that sound is either neutral or worse, it's deep in the negative because of what it's so often followed by.
And honestly, we do this all the time without even thinking about it. We call their name right before we stuff them in the carrier to go to the vet. We call them over to give them nasty medicine. We yell their name when we see them scratching up the furniture. So their clever little brain learns a very simple equation. Hearing my name is a warning that something I hate is coming next.
Now, here's the good news.
This is 100% fixable. You are not doomed to be ignored forever. You just need to change the math in their head. So here's a super simple 3-step plan to rewrite the value of your voice so you can finally be heard.
Okay, here's the plan. Step 1. For the next 2 weeks, I want you to make a promise. Every single time you say your cat's name, you immediately follow it up with something they love. A tasty treat, a scratch behind the ears, a quick game. No exceptions. Step 2. You have to stop using their name for anything negative. Period. If it's time for the vet, you just go get them. Don't give them a warning by calling their name first. And step 3, this is a great little hack. Add a unique sound, like a little tongue click or a short whistle, right before you say their name. Cats are really tuned into unique sounds, and it creates this powerful, unmistakable signal that good stuff is on the way.
And I want to be clear, this isn't about training them like you would a dog. You're not teaching a command. You are just changing an association. You're taking their name and turning it from a potential warning sign into the single most reliable predictor of joy in their entire world.
So when you boil it all down, the reason your cat ignores you is never because they're clueless. A huge chunk of the time, it's actually a sign of trust. For the rest, it's either because their name just doesn't mean much anymore, or even worse, it means something bad. But what it never ever means is that they don't know you're talking to them.
They know you. Of course they know you. And every single time you call their name, their brain is asking just one simple question: is it worth it? Is responding to that sound worth my energy right now? Your job is to make sure the answer is always yes.